Dear New York City, as a little girl, you enchanted me. I met you a few times back then, and it was love at first sight. It was not an easy love, not serene nor comfortable. It was an electric love, thrilling, terrifying. Your lights blinded me. Your buildings shrunk me. Your streets swallowed me whole. It was exquisite just to know that one day I'd really know you. I came to you in the sweltering summer of 2014, wide-eyed and eager. A recent graduate from Johns Hopkins University, I left Baltimore behind and ran into your arms. I wanted to be as close to your center as possible, so I found your heart and I dove into it. My first apartment was on 47th Street and 8th Avenue, just steps away from Times Square. Everyone told me, that's a hectic area, don't live there. But I wanted hectic. I wanted loud. I wanted bright and blinding. I wanted to be swept up in a sea of bodies and powered by the intensity of it all. We lived up in the clouds on the 50th floor. Some days we saw straight into the heart of Broadway. Others we couldn't even see the ground. I lived with my friend and my sister back then. I was an intern. I left my apartment every morning and joined thousands of commuters in your hot and sticky underground. You swept us all up, pushed us to work harder, to walk faster, to look where we were going, and to never sleep. I didn't know you that well back then. I once rode your subway in the completely wrong direction. I emerged in Queens and asked someone if I was at Union Square. When they told me I wasn't in Manhattan anymore, that was the first time you felt like home. Your subway car carried me back to a familiar corner, and I melted into you. 2 years later, my longtime boyfriend and I moved in together. We nestled ourselves in Chelsea, our love maturing and magnifying between your bricks. We forged friendships, built careers. We grew our own food. In this apartment, we promised ourselves to one another. A couple more years passed, and we moved sharply down 6th Avenue, this time to your West Village. It was colorful, cobblestoned, like a dream. Cornelia Street cradled us like kin. We tied the knot and we settled down. Your streets brought me to life. They brought people to my life. They showed me a side of myself that I didn't know existed. I ate from your dumpsters. I performed on your pavement. I tried all of your pizza, and I looked behind every closed door. You were not always easy to love. Your winters were whipping and brutal, and your summers unbearably hot. At times you felt unsafe and unstable, but just when I thought you'd never bounce back, you did. You always do. Your beauty draws us all in. You're covered in art. Tiny messages scattered around, hidden in plain sight. You remind us that love wins, that Black Lives Matter, and on every pedestrian signal head that the Messiah is here. Some days you're rough and unforgiving, and others you're gentle, generous, brimming with possibility. You don't hold grudges. Instead, you keep moving. Your rivers keep flowing, your buildings keep growing. You're a work in progress, always improving. It was inside that triangular apartment of mine on Cornelia Street with a view of the Empire State Building that my husband and I found out we'd be having a little boy. We moved yet again to another of your neighborhoods, this one further uptown, filled with strollers. It was quieter, family-friendly. The avenues felt wider and the buildings felt lower. Here we raised our son for 19 months. You've raised him with us. He grew up in your parks, on your playgrounds, in your fountains. at your art museums, baseball stadiums, and restaurants. He's no stranger to loud sirens, steam rising from the ground, motorcycles whizzing past, or street performers. Even when we travel, he knows your skyline and can tell when we're back home. Over the past few months, I'm sure you've noticed that something's up with me. I bought a new house, and almost every weekend I've been driving out to see it. This new house has a lot of things you were never able to give me. A backyard, a staircase that's just mine, windows that let me see the sun at all hours of the day, quiet. You see, these are things that I had growing up that I would love to give to my own children. But as I leave, as I pack up my life and drive away, here's my promise to you. I promise to visit you again and again, watching you change and evolve as the years go by. I promise to tell my children all about you and make sure they know the way to Union Square. I promise to foster all of the friendships I've built on your turf. I promise to pick up your trash every time I come back to visit you. When I see you in a film, I'll smile. When I hear you in the background of a phone call, I'll grin. And every time I see your skyline in the distance, taking shape and getting closer and closer, I will beam, knowing that you're still there, waiting for me. Thank you for keeping me safe over the last 10 years, for helping me blossom, and for being an absolute masterpiece. I will never stop loving you. With love, Lucie.